This is Roland Khorshidi-Zada. Welcome again to On the Rise. With me again is Steph France.
Hey guys.
So we're going to do something different. We're going to talk about Area 51. We were enjoying talking about space too much in the previous episode. We decided, why stop?
We had to keep going. Had
Exactly.
to do it.
Before we actually get into Area 51 proper, we were talking about black holes.
Black holes, the cryptic black holes. Is it? I read that they just suck up everything except they haven't sucked us up yet.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
accurate?
right.
They just suck up things, like they just suck things up.
But there are other black holes in other areas of space, so we're being pulled in all kinds of different directions. So maybe there's a leveling where we all stay in place.
What if they like suck things up and then they just appear like at another black hole? What if it's just little tunnels? You know what I mean?
I mean, it's possible if you could actually withstand the pressure of being crushed by one of those black holes on the way in. But if you can do that, yeah, you can go from black hole to black hole without a second thought.
Little tunnels. Yeah.
Yeah, tunnels in space.
How about what do you think about? What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I was gonna talk about the Russians and America and how they had that space battle.
Yeah, the space race.
Right. What do you think about this? I was watching a thing that said that maybe they got together and did like a joint space thing. Do you know, like what do you think?
Yeah, they had a co-op, and I think that's a good idea to actually have a united presence in space so that we're not
yeah.
fighting each other in
like-
space.
It's like the one thing we all have in common is space. You know what I mean?
I mean, at the end of the day, when you run into aliens, they're not going to know the difference between Russians and Americans. We're all Earthlings to them.
Exactly. That's I mean, I feel like what were we even doing? What was NASA even doing for the past like nothing? They were just
They haven't really done anything in terms of exploration. They've researched beyond the solar system. They've researched planets in the solar system. They've gathered a lot of data, but we're not really doing anything with it because we're not going out there.
oh, you know, it makes me mad. NASA, how they take pictures. First off, you know, Google World, right?
Yeah.
You know, you can go on the moon, and not on the, you know what I mean. You can look
I know
at
what
it.
you mean.
Yeah. They blur out like half the thing, and it's kind of like if you watch it, I think they shut it down actually last month, but they used to have live feed of space.
Okay.
And during it, if something would pop up, there's like hundreds of clips of it. They would just all of a sudden it would just like the screen would just go to like a blank thing and it'd be like, oh, there are problems with the connection. It's like weird things, or they would just get lazy and like it looks like they would just take a marker and just like scribble over like parts of what people could see.
I have some thoughts about that. One, with the signal, I mean, you never know because we're dealing with another terrestrial body. But B, why would you actually want to censor anything out? Because there's nothing on there. There are no people there, so what's there to hide?
Right. It's kind of like it's like we're paying for it with our taxes. Like why are you being sketchy? Why can't we just kind of see everything? Because there are tons of NASA scientists who say there are so many like confidential stuff that people can't see, but it's like that. I feel like that's our taxes. Those are ours. Like, you know.
I don't get it. That goes back to the original question. I mean, what is there to hide if we've never been there before except for a couple of visits in the 60s and 70s?
There's so much like so many conspiracy theories over the whole. I just want to see the pictures. That's it. Like just show us. And I know that they won't release things. It's like they really won't. They're super, you know, they're stingy with it. But
I have a conspiracy theory. Warning, this is a conspiracy theory, speculation. What if the tall whites are on the moon? You've heard of the tall whites, right?
I've heard of the tall whites. Sadly, I'm not stubborn enough to say that I don't know what's up there. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. I can't, you know, I look up and when people are like, oh, there's, you know, this doesn't exist and this is, but it's like, I don't know, guys. It's pretty big up there. We never really haven't, but you know, who knows? Like, I don't want to be that one person who like aliens invade and they're like, we've been here all along. And I'm like, I knew it. Like, you know.
You know what I think? Again, this is speculation. I think that there are aliens on the planet because why not? And there might even be people from the future here, and they'd never tell you, and even if they did, you'd never believe them.
You ever heard of the hollow Earth theory? That's real
I've
crazy.
heard of it, But I haven't heard of it. I'm aware of the concept, but I haven't heard it described in detail. So what is it for the benefit of the audience and incidentally me?
It's well, there are a lot of people in the military. There's one guy, his last name is Bird. I'm not really sure how to spell it, but there's one spot in the Arctic where you can't go. Planes can't fly over it. NASA blurs it out.
Oh, the no-go zone.
Yeah, and a lot of like people, ex-military, say that that's like an entrance somewhere because it's the one place that fresh water comes out of like nowhere, and people will find these like pieces of flowers that are from warm climates just like floating out from there, but no one can go there. So it's kind of like at this point, anything's really possible. I don't know much about geography or
So is it that no one can physically go there or no one is allowed there?
allowed.
Okay.
But there are people that have reported going in there, and I think that's where the whole it's tied in with that whole ancient aliens thing, where there are aliens here, and some of them are from inside the Earth. I mean, it's a big story, but
I'm going to contradict myself now with the ancient aliens theory, even though I said I think that aliens might be here. With ancient aliens, I'm not sure that they actually aided humans in building their society, like the pyramids. I actually believe that the ancient Egyptians had means to build it that we're not familiar with, because a lot of knowledge was lost, and it's egotistical to think that humans today know everything that humans ever knew. I think that they might have known some things that we don't, and in some areas, they were more advanced than we are.
I like how you think. This is exactly how I feel. I feel like I'm convinced that there is some sort of. You ever heard of I think it's called the Hutchinson effect?
Haven't heard of it.
It's a scientist back in the 70s. Yeah, NASA wanted to work with him, but he wouldn't really work with them. He found a way that he could make things like levitate just by like some sort of vibration and pitch. So I feel like maybe we kind of knew that back in the day. Maybe we kind of knew how to lift things up just by like pitches and using like the Earth's magnets. Maybe we just kind of knew that,
That would be interesting, but also in terms of history, ancient times were more advanced than the medieval times. They had sewer systems, they had toilets, they had scientific research where they could make various discoveries. All of that was lost in medieval times. So the fact that we lost technology once, that means that we might have lost technology again, or some stuff we just flat out never recovered.
How about they just found, I forgot even what pyramid it was, but they found new like little rooms inside of one of them. That was like, they just said that last week. I haven't really looked into it much. I haven't had the time because of the election, but
Right.
like I guess they found like more rooms underneath these pyramids. So that's kind of, I want to go in there.
I've always wanted to visit a pyramid. Haven't had the chance. I mean,
Me
I've
neither.
never gone to Egypt.
What do you think they were for?
The pyramids themselves, I think that they had the mindset of that they would literally entomb the pharaohs, because the pharaohs they thought should be in these extravagant locations, but there might be more to it. I just wasn't taught it. I wasn't a history major, so I was just taught whatever I learned in the classroom, and I haven't thought to look up much online about pyramids.
There's like, I'm convinced. All right, okay. Supposedly, like they've never found a body in one of these pyramids. There was one guy that like wrote a book. He said it could have been some sort of big battery.
Okay, I never ever
Like a
thought about that
big-
before.
Big sort of like like it was meant to have more parts and stuff like that. But that was kind of like the main idea of it.
I'm not quite sure how that would work, because from what I understand, batteries are zinc-based and copper-based, and pyramids aren't that.
I'm still. I mean, it was an interesting book, but
I mean, maybe erosion, it disappeared, but I don't think that metal would erode that quickly. It's only, what, 2,000-3,000 years, maybe longer?
I know that they didn't. Yeah, they had batteries. They found a few of them, like jar batteries. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know why the pyramids were built, but it could be anything. We don't really know much.
Yeah. I mean,
Be
all
cool
the-
if it was a
yeah.
energy thing, though.
All we really know is what can actually survive the gradual erosion. I mean, when people discover us in 5,000, if our society falls, what are they going to be able to decipher? Would they even be able to get a complete story?
Yep. I'm like on the same page as you. I think there's gotta. They knew. I feel like they knew more than we know now. Just different things. You know.
So Area 51, we got the aliens, and they're probably observing
Yep.
all of our progress, and then
Yep.
one of them gets caught in Roswell. What are your thoughts?
Well, what are your thoughts? Like, do you think it was a crash? Do you think it was a hot air balloon? What do you think?
I really don't know what to think other than people blame technological advancements that we've had on Area 51. They're like, we didn't have this technology, and now we have all this technology. I counter that with the Industrial Revolution happened in the middle of the 19th century. We had constant technological progress from 1900 to 1947, and then we still had technological progress. We were progressing along a curve, and Area 51 and any aliens didn't really change that. So people are just trying to use that as an excuse for, well, humans, they couldn't have possibly come up with all this technology this fast. I think that they did because the knowledge was there. It was brewing over a span of centuries and millennia, and it just came to a critical mass where we suddenly had the means to realize everything and make all these technological developments happen one right after another because we finally could. That's what I think.
I see. I feel like if I mean, I don't think people were very stupid back then. I feel like if it was like a weather balloon, you know, someone would pick it up and be like, "This is like a balloon," you know. But the fact that they picked it up and they were like bringing it home, and there was like a big like meeting. You know that famous picture? People are holding up pieces of it and they're
Yeah.
smiling. It's like if that was a weather balloon, I just feel like that wouldn't have been a very good Kodak moment right then. Like, and
Right.
the fact that the whole, you know, conspiracy theory term in documents was meant to throw everyone off, you know, discredit everyone who said that they saw something and this and that. I mean, like I said, I don't know what's up there. Who knows? But
I have two theories. Either at Area 51, there was something so disturbing that the public can never know, and then people came up with aliens as a conspiracy theory because it makes them feel good, or there actually were aliens, and again, if we've discovered aliens, why would they want to tell the public? Because they'd send them into a panic or a frenzy, or they want to know more information, and no one would ever be left alone. The government wouldn't be left alone.
I can just imagine, like, I have like a mental picture of just all like the, not to bring rats, but a lot of like all the social justice warriors, like just having a big strike, just trying to like get the aliens to come down. Like, I just feel like the government exposing aliens would just be a terrible idea for us to have to deal with the social justice warriors. Can you just imagine like all the, you know, the super like, I don't want to say hippy dippy because I have a lot of friends like that, but you know what I mean? Like people that are just very like earthy.
You'd have two camps. You'd have the people who'd be like, take us with you, take us
Yeah,
with
exactly.
you. Or you'd have the ones who would be like, they're going to destroy us. We need to declare war on the
Exactly.
aliens now.
Exactly, that'd be like, yeah, definitely.
And then the governments, they'd have different ideas about how to deal with the aliens. Or you'd have different countries trying to ally with the aliens, and then the aliens would be like, we're not going to take any sides.
Yep, exactly. I feel like hopefully if there are aliens, they would know better. Like I hope that if they exist, they would kind of be like our little guardians. Like say like I don't know, North Korea sent like a nuke up. Like what if they caught it and they were like, no. Like
Right.
don't you wish they were up there? Like they'd be kind of neat if they were just kind of like monitoring, making sure we're not like blowing each other up.
For all we know, we could be a sociology experiment. They're watching how the society progresses from above and be like, this is what not to
Yep.
do.
Or like I was reading about the hologram theory.
But that we're all living in a holodeck,
Yeah,
basically.
something like that. Like I don't really know about it, but it's like that's like weird. Have you like read about that at all?
I've heard about that theory, yes.
What do you think about it? I think it's just a
I don't think that we're holograms or
yeah. I don't
that
think it doesn't make sense to me.
none of this is real. I think it's real. But then again, I have no reason to think that it's not real. So for all I know, I've been duped.
Right, the Matrix.
Yeah, I took the blue pill.
If all right, Area 51 why do you think they're so like you've seen the signs on the thing where it's like violators will be shot on site. It's like that's harsh, man. Like
It's like I said, there's either something so disturbing there that they don't want anyone to ever know, or they're aliens. I can't say any more about that because literally that's where I am with that.
I agree. I think I've just there are like a lot of people that go. I just watched the clip the other day about people just riding their motorcycles like, around the back, and these people came and did like military, and they were like, "What are you doing here?" And they like patted them down, sent them like home like with $1,000 ticket.
For all we know, they don't even know what's there. They're just told, keep everyone out.
Right. Exactly.
Maybe they don't tell the president because the president changes every 4 to 8 years and they stay the same.
I hear I heard that there are like levels of secrecy, and I think the president supposedly is like only on level like 7, and there's like 18 levels, so it's like a
Wow.
need to know basis. And this freaked me out. The Russian president, Putin, his right-hand man, he was being interviewed, and the reporter asked him like, you were talking about aliens, whatever, and he said, yeah, well, before someone sets off nukes, you get handed a briefcase, you open it up, and there's an envelope, and in there, and he's like totally straight-faced. He's like, you get all the names of all our alien friends who are our alliances and our enemies, and blah blah, and then he goes, watch the movie Men in Black, and I feel like all the Americans like laughed it off because we're like, here comes the Men in Black, like that movie.
Yeah, I remember that.
But
yeah.
what the Russians are saying was he was referring to this old documentary about UFOs. That's a Russian documentary. And I watched it. It'll freak you out. It'll totally freak you out.
So UFOs, do you think that the unidentified flying objects are actually alien or just stuff that isn't identified or can't be explained?
I think it's both. I think there's a lot of weird stuff that flies around. I do think, like I said, I can't say there's no aliens. I mean, it's a really massive universe. Who knows?
Well, if there are other planets with water, which we've been discovering, life must come out of that if it came out the same way it did here. So there would have to be aliens. It's just a question of, are they advanced enough to travel to the Earth? Are they advanced enough to do anything at all?
Exactly.
For all we know, we have aliens on other planets, but they're like butterflies or they're snails or they're snakes or something.
There's also a theory about what if something living didn't need water, which is possible.
Yeah.
A living organism that didn't need things that we need, then almost any planet there could be something living, just not the way we.
Yeah, we're 90, not 90. We're at 66%
Yeah.
water, so there could be a race that's 66% sulfur.
Yeah, that's something to think about. That's crazy.
Or here's something interesting: 66% magma.
Right? Some of those planets are creepy. Some of them are just like, they look like from a nightmare, like purple winds and just below freezing temperatures, just creepy stuff.
How about Venus, where the surface temperature is 900 degrees Fahrenheit?
That's hot.
Yeah,
That's a hot planet. That's a sunburn, is what that is.
yeah. One time I was out in the sun doing a film, and it was just me in a bathing suit because of the role I was in. And I was out there for about 6 hours, and I was burned red. I can't even imagine what Venus would be like.
Ugh. I fell asleep, took a 15-minute nap. I had blisters all over my legs. Never again. I'm just not meant for I'm just not meant for the sun. But there was a planet. What is it? They say that there are diamonds in it. Did you hear about that one?
I haven't heard about that one. I mean, it can't be one of the inner planets. It would have to be one discovered beyond the solar system,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But they said that it's like completely diamonds on the inside, which I want to do more research on that. I feel like that might be, but I mean that's kind of.
Well, diamonds are formed due to the pressure from outside, so there must be some type of intense pressure in the atmosphere that's creating these diamonds. So that planet would not be inhabitable at all because we'd be crushed to death.
What do you think about Nibiru? Is that how you spell it?
Nibiru, yeah.
What do you think about that?
I don't know anything about it because I know of the name, but I don't know any other details. Is that the planet that's almost Earth-like?
I know very little too. Supposedly it's this big like creepy planet that's so big that things are actually maneuvering around it.
Wait, yes, I have heard of that. I have heard of that. That is interesting because that's halfway between a planet and a star, basically.
Supposedly it's just like massive, and everyone's like, "Oh, it'll appear somewhere." I mean, it just sounds creepy.
I don't know if you're familiar with the Alien movies at all, but Alien
I am.
3, Prison Planet, originally it was going to be this wooden planet in space that was completely hollow.
Here's how about underground alien bases? You ever heard of that one?
Yeah.
How you feel about that? Possible? No.
It's possible, it's not impossible. But I just wonder what they're doing. Are they just observing, or are they hoping to eventually have a colony? Are they interbreeding with us and we don't even know?
I feel like if there were aliens, there must be like so many different types. There's got to be just weird different types.
That all have their own different agendas. So maybe
Yeah.
they're. I don't think that we're in danger of an alien invasion, contrary to a lot of people who actually believe in aliens, because if they're going to invade us and destroy us, they would have done it by now.
Oh yeah.
Or they just figure, we'll do a pretty good job on our own.
I feel like there's got to be like one, like if there's a ton of aliens, there's got to be like one type that's just like, you know what? These humans, they're tiny and they're cute. I'm going to take care of them. So hopefully that one's like deterring all the other ones from attacking us. I hope, if that's the case. I mean,
Actually, I saw that on Star Trek. There was a prequel series called Enterprise, and humans made first contact with the Vulcans, and then the Vulcans basically protected them from the Klingons and the other alien forces who would have come and conquered them.
see? I should watch Star Trek again. I haven't watched that for years. I got to rewatch it. But I feel like I hope that somebody would take us under their wing, you
Yeah.
know?
Someone always looking over us.
How about alien abductions?
Those, there was a movie called Fire Under the Sky, which was based on a true story, or the entire premise of X-Files, where Mulder loses his sister, and I think that abductions might be possible, or people on milk cartons, have you seen us, and they disappeared. Who knows where they went? They might have been kidnapped, they might have been abducted. I don't know. But if there are abductions, then the people who might be watching over us, either they're not doing a good job, or as good of a job as
Right.
they like, or they came later. I haven't heard anything about abductions lately.
Somebody wrote one of these. I watched Project Camelot on YouTube. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's these guys interview all sorts of like UFO people, Majestic 12, like all that. They oh wait, this is what I want to bring up. The abductions. Have you ever heard of that doctor that actually like makes a living taking weird things out of people's bodies? And this is like legit. This is real. This is like
I haven't heard of
a
that.
doctor. He's sort of famous for it, but he removes these like weird little things. People say they're abducted, so they go to him and they're like metal pieces, and they do testing. It's like weird metals coming out of people.
Haven't heard of that.
It's creepy, but the guy's. I mean, he's real. I don't know if people's bodies are making these things or if he's. I mean, like abduction. I feel like if there were aliens that did abductions, yeah, it's like where the hell's our guardian alien then that's telling them no, you know?
Maybe they had an off day, or maybe they were asleep at the job.
Right? Maybe
or they don't have enough coverage. Someone called in sick.
they were distracted.
Aliens, they get sick too. Or maybe they found something on alien Facebook. They're like, oh, I got to reply to that post.
Right? Yeah, they were busy texting or something.
Yeah. Just imagine that. All the aliens, what if they have their own social network? They have their own galactic network where they communicate with each other across the Milky Way.
I feel like I read this. I read that. Now, like I said, I don't know if this is real. This hasn't even been proven. But supposedly there's somebody. This piece of hair. There's somebody that says there are 5 like good types of aliens that are like protecting us, and then there's like a bunch of other ones. And the government made like a deal that one really ugly type. I'm not saying they're ugly.
Right.
They're creepy, yeah, whatever, they're ugly. So they come in, abduct people. They have like a certain number they can take a year and all this stuff. It's like, what if all this stuff was real? Wouldn't that be like nuts?
So you're saying, according to this story, that the government actually approves of these people being kidnapped because they have this deal with these aliens. So basically, the aliens are actually taking sides with different human countries.
Yeah, exactly. Like they all kind of have their own agenda with like.
It might not be in America, but I heard a Canadian Prime Minister, the name escapes me right now, talking about the tall whites. So
Yep.
maybe the
Yeah.
aliens have a deal with Canada.
Yep, I know what you're. I just me and my girlfriend just watched something about that. Yeah, people just swear on this tall whites thing. People are all about it. Even I mean I know in America we're pretty like. You talk about aliens, we're like, no, a little crazy. But I guess in other countries, they're way more open about it than we are.
Well, I've always been open about it,
Yeah. Should
but
be.
then I'm a deviant, basically.
Have you
there
ever
we are.
have you ever seen a UFO?
No.
Me neither. Man.
Or maybe I saw one and I didn't even realize it, but I don't remember seeing any flying objects that I couldn't identify. I'd see a plane, I'd be like, that's not unidentified, that's a plane or a
Yep.
helicopter. So now, for all I know, just because we talked about it, when I go outside tonight, I'll see a UFO.
Keep your eye out. Yeah.
Damn it. I'm in between video cameras right now, so I should always have my video camera on me so that I can catch that UFO.
I want to be like that person that sees something weird and records it because I'm always like trying. It'd just be cool to see one. It'd just be cool.
Of course, it's also your claim to fame.
Yeah, exactly.
So, this was a discussion that was literally out of this world. Thank you for watching On the Rise, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.